Hello, my name is Bob Bentz, and I am president of EmergencyPlan.com. In the next few minutes, you will see firsthand the need for disaster emergency planning by viewing charts that describe the type of disaster or emergencies that are occurring all the time. Consequently, it is no longer a question of if you will be impacted by a disaster or emergency, but when and to what degree. You may not be able to control the event, but you do have control over to what degree the event will affect your company, business, and family. According to most independent studies, 80% of businesses who do not have a disaster emergency plan in place that experience an event are out of business within 3 years or less. In addition, the Department of Homeland Security is continually stressing the importance of every family having a family disaster emergency plan. So let's take a look at what typical events support the actual need for disaster emergency planning. As you can see from this graphic of over the last 50 years, hurricanes have impacted the United States and the East Coast in particular on a regular basis. Not only do hurricanes affect the coastal areas, but normally they move inland before becoming a tropical storm. The bottom line is that most hurricanes affect a large landmass and people's lives. One interesting point, whenever a disaster or emergency occurs, our experience has been that for the next 9 to 12 months, the interest level in the disaster or emergency planning and preparing for an emergency is exceptionally high. But as time goes by, people revert back to the attitude, "It can't happen to me." This slide represents a typical nor'easter. It usually is known for the winter storms affecting the Northeast. However, this example in 2012 was Hurricane Sandy as it moved up the coast. You can see from the catastrophic storm a little further left and it would have impacted another large area as well. Because of the storm size, millions of people were devastated. Your time to prepare is before the next event occurs. As you can see from this chart representing years 2008 to 2011, billion-dollar weather events are not new. They occur throughout North America on a regular basis, and no one is exempt. For these disaster events to equal $1 billion, you know a lot of people and property were affected adversely. Just how many people and businesses do you think were prepared? Major disaster or emergency events, man-made or natural, have and will always occur. Tornadoes are nature's most violent storms. Spawned from powerful thunderstorms, tornadoes can cause fatalities and devastate a neighborhood in seconds. A tornado appears as a rotating funnel-shaped cloud that extends from a thunderstorm to the ground with whirling winds that can reach 300 miles an hour. Damaged paths can be in excess of 1 mile wide and 50 miles long. Every state is at some risk from a hazard of a tornado. This chart represents the areas most prone to tornadoes. These three charts provide an interesting perspective of how disaster events affect the loss of life, economic losses, and their event frequency over the years 1960 through 2009. Each chart reflects the percentage of each category. What is interesting about the number of events chart is that windstorm and flood make up 60% of the occurrences. The loss of life pie chart is a little more dispersed, with the major categories for loss of life being drought, earthquake, windstorm, and flood. When looking at the economic loss, the highest impact areas are windstorm, flood, and earthquakes. Often floods are associated with hurricanes or cyclones. We are committed to helping every company, organization, and family to be prepared and offer a portfolio of solutions to help you. The prior charts generally show that disaster emergency events are occurring all the time. In addition to what you have just witnessed, there are an unlimited number of events that would cause a company or a family to use their disaster or emergency plan. Not to mention fire, earthquake, terrorism, workplace violence, electrical storms, and on and on and on. The need to have a plan is unlimited. It is amazing how one simple disaster or emergency event can devastate your company and your family. Since most organizations and families do not have a comprehensive disaster emergency plan, they are vulnerable. Just imagine for a moment Katrina or the New York, New Jersey 2012 storms or fire, and imagine that is where you live. Are you and your family ready to survive an emergency event? Prepare today for the unknown emergency event that could occur tomorrow.